Hey, it's Annie. Today I am going to show you the technique that I used on this table, and I may be doing another video on this so you can actually see me doing it on a tabletop. So easy to do, okay? Seriously, really easy to do. I'm using the, let's see, what is it? The true applicator. This is from Heirloom Traditions paint. It's not like a regular sponge. It is, and it's really like, it's a really soft sponge. As far as like, it's not really, you know, some sponges it looks like it's more textured. This isn't. This is like really, like when you use it, you're going to get a really smooth application. I want to use it damp, almost like really wet, but not quite. Like you don't want it dripping, but you want it pretty wet. I hope that makes sense, because otherwise the paint's going to drag and you want to be able to glide it. Okay, so I'm using a la mode, Mocha, and Thunderous. Those are all again from Heirloom Traditions paint. Okay, that's the colors that I use to get this look, and then I use wax on top of that too, but we'll talk about that when we're ready to do that. So I'm going to use a sponge to paint it, and you know what a pain it is to paint like spindles on a chair and everything. This is going to make it so easy. Okay, so all I do is I take my true applicator and I just dip it in each color. You don't have to, it doesn't matter like exactly how you do it. Just dip it in there. Like seriously, you're not going to make a mistake. And some of the paint's going to mix in, and it doesn't matter. It's all good. Okay, this is just how I did it. It's exactly how I did the table. So then I'm going to just take it and I'm just going to go right over. Okay, just kind of just going down like that, like making a line. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, now I'm going to probably do 2 coats of this. And that's what I'm going to do. This is all I'm doing, guys. Seriously. Okay? That's it. And again, like I said, I'm going to do at least 2 coats of paint on this, because otherwise it's going to look kind of streaky. All right? But do you see what I'm doing? Like, look at all the paint that's getting on there. And you don't have to be picky about, like, don't be picky about it. Just put it on. All right? And then I'm getting on the edges here. If it starts looking like too much of the same color, that's when you're going to want it. And I'm just taking it and just going like this. You're always going to want to take that cushion off, like I took my cushions off, because you don't want to get your fabric all messed up, okay? Guys, that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to do the same on the back. Let me see if I can turn this around. And it's more paint because it's getting kind of too much brown, okay? I'm still going to dip it in that brown, but I want to get these other colors in here. The brown color is the mocha, okay? And just kind of get enough of it on so you just kind of see my sponge, okay? So now I'm just gonna go like this. And you see, don't worry about those drips because it's gonna all be good. It's gonna be good. See that? And I'm just following the curves of the chair. You're not going to mess this up, I promise. If you're ever worried about doing a painting technique, don't practice on the piece that you're going to work on. Just get a scrap of wood, cheap piece of furniture. I'm gonna get some more color in here because I feel like now it's getting too much gray. Because I kind of want to have it like you see the different colors. You know what I mean? That's kind of the look that I'm going for. But this is all that I did on my table. Seriously. On the legs, on the top of the table. Can you see me doing the legs down here? You can't. Painter's tarp is one of those that has a plastic behind it, so it's really nice. So I know it's not going to seep through my carpeting, my crappy carpeting that we're going to replace. And I don't even have anything underneath that. I'll probably do that. I might do that, we'll see. I'm just getting it all the way down. I'm not even worrying about like you can get all the way down to the bottom and not even worry about like you know, putting something underneath it. So now let me turn it so you can see. Now, like I said, at this point it's gonna look splotchy, but don't freak out because we gotta let this dry and we're gonna do more coats of paint, okay? This is just the first coat, but this is exactly what I did with the table, all right? Let's see if I can. So again, I'm going to dip a little bit more paint. So that's all you do, just keep on adding a little bit more paint as you go. because you want it to have, you want to be able to see those other colors in it. Look, that one has way too much brown, but don't freak out. See, I just add a little bit of white and just kind of, and this is only the first coat too, okay? This is the first coat. So just go with it. Your chairs, the one thing about this is it's not going to be all matchy-matchy. Not every chair is going to look the same, but that's okay. I know I don't like everything to match. It's going to look similar, but it's not going to match, okay? So just this is all that I did. And I kind of push it in there where it's like, you know, you can see little spaces in between. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing. This is hard to turn it. Oh my goodness. I know you can't see it, but you know what I'm doing here, right? I'm just sweeping it across. Okay, that's all I'm doing. So that's it. I'm going to let this dry. And then when I come back, I'll show me doing the next coat. And then I will show you, you know, share how I'm going to wax it and all that too, just like I did with the table. So I'm going to go ahead, let me turn this again. So this is dry. And I'm going to go ahead and continue painting this, all right? So I'm going to get my gloves back on. And I forgot to mention this in the beginning too, that you're going to want a base coat of some, you know, a paint color. So, you know, if you want something like this was a creamy color, so it was a nice base coat. Like if you had a wood piece that was dark, you'd probably want to paint it, I would say like a light color first and then do this technique. That's what I think personally, because you want to be able to see it. So I'm going to do it again. This is still wet. I'm just going to dip it in my paints here. It's been sitting for a little bit, but still looking okay. Okay, so I'm just going to dip it in all the paint colors, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Hopefully you can see this on camera. See, I'm just going straight down with it. Can you see that? And like I said, with each coat, it's going to get, you know, you're going to see more paint and it's not going to look streaky. See how that looks? See how cool that is? Now, it might look real stripy too, but I promise that when you're done, let me see if I can zoom this. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing now. I'm going to go ahead and just using the sponge. I got my gloves on. You're going to want to wear gloves because this is messy. I'm not going straight like down like I did below. I'm just going to brush it over. I got to get, oops, no, it dripped there, but that's okay. That's okay. Just lightly went over it. It's because the sponge is pretty wet. Don't freak out. Like if you're doing something, you're like, oh my gosh, you could always go back over it, okay? Nothing's gonna happen. But you know, if this is like something that's scary to you and you want to do it on a piece, you're like, practice first, okay? Don't do it on a piece that you're afraid to. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I just go for it, you know? But if you are afraid, don't do it, okay? I want to get a little bit more white in here. See how it's kind of, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you can see like, you can see the other colors in here, okay? And I'm just going to get in here and do the same thing, all right? And I can get down there a little bit more. But there's no, you're not going to mess this up. If you don't like something, go back over it with your paint. Seriously. That's how easy this is to do. So that's it, guys. I mean, I can keep doing this, but that's all this is. It's just I'm taking my paint, I'm dipping it in there. I'm not doing it any particular way. I'm just dipping it in there. See? Just dipping the paint in there. And then as I'm just applying this with the sponge, it's giving me that look. Now, that picked up a lot of brown. No big deal. I'll go back over it. And now it's kind of like almost like an ombre look in a way, I guess, in a way, you know, because ombre is really like one color, but it's kind of like that where you can see all the different colors, okay? And it's just really soft and just really pretty. And then when I'm done with it, like on my table, and I waxed it, once I wax it, it just helps like soften the look a little bit more too. So And you know, you might have to do 2 coats of paint here. I see something that got on there. What got on there? Like a little, I don't know what that is. No big deal though, just brush right over it. But you know, it depends on your piece. You may have to do 3, you may have to do this 3 times, you may just have to do it 2 times, but that's all you do is just take your sponge that's damp, pretty damp. I mean, you don't want it to be so it's really drippy, because you saw it dripped like just slightly. So it's like just, I'm trying to hard to explain, because if it's not damp enough, you're gonna pull your paint. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get that really soft look. So you want your sponge damp enough for that. If it starts getting too muddy, then you're gonna want to go and just rinse out your sponge really good, and then make sure there's enough, you know, water in it still. Okay, like rinse it out really good, and then fill it back up with water so it's wet but not drippy wet. Okay, and then start your painting again. But that's all I'm gonna do. I'm in between each coat. Then once it's dry, I'm gonna let it sit like at least overnight, okay? And then you're gonna wanna go back over it and wax it. So I'm gonna finish this, and then I'm gonna come back when it's all dry. So here we are, day 2, and this is completely dry. So now I'm gonna wax it, and this is what it looks like, all right? I didn't finish all the chairs yet. I started working on another one, but I'm gonna work on finishing the rest of them today, okay? But I just thought I would share how to wax it. This is really, really easy. I'm using Heirloom Traditions white lime wax, okay? And I'm gonna use very little of this, okay? So what I'm gonna do is take my wax brush, and this is also from Heirloom Traditions. I love this wax brush, okay? I've used many before. Some of them are really stiff. Some of them are really flimsy. This one is perfect. I love this wax brush, okay? And I prefer to use a wax brush because, you know, if you have detail, you can really get into that detail with a brush, and you can just sweep it on. It's so much easier than just applying it with like a rag or something, you know? So I'm just gonna kind of dip it in there, my brush, and it doesn't matter where you start, okay? And then I'm just gonna start brushing it on. You're gonna see how this is gonna change the look of this and really soften it. Do you see that? Kind of almost gives it like a grayish, more of a grayish washed look. Do you see that? You just brush on. You want to do a section at a time too. You don't want to like do your whole piece, okay? And then I'm gonna take my cotton rag and just wipe it off. Just really light. I'm like, this is like a really light touch, okay? So I really want to see that washed look on it. To see how that totally aged it and just toned down that color. I love this look. It's very, to me, it's very French looking. So we're gonna do the same thing right here. I'll show you again. I'm just gonna sweep this right over it. And again, this is white wax, this is not paint. So this will seal your piece too. It's not just the way it looks, but it also seals it, okay? And you're gonna want this to cure for at least 24 hours to fully cure, okay? And then you can buff it. So now I'm gonna take my cotton rag. I'm just gonna lightly wipe some of that off. That's it, guys. I mean, it's really, really easy. I'll do a little bit more here so you can see on camera. Yeah, I just wanna make sure I was in view. So you just do a section at a time. Again, you don't wanna do the whole piece. I love this wax. It's really easy to work with. Use very, very little. And you can do so much with it, but for this particular look, I just like it because it really softened that look, you know, and that's how I created the same look on this table. So, you know, 3 paint colors dipped. I did 2 coats. I just kind of went over it. You saw how I did that. And then let it dry, and then I did another coat on it, and now I'm waxing it. I'm only gonna do 1 coat of wax, okay? And then when it's completely done, then I'll just take a buffing brush. I have a wax buffing brush, or you can take a cotton rag too, and just buff it down. And that is it. That's all you have to do. So like I said, I'm gonna finish it, and I will show you, I'll come back and I'll show you what my dining room looks like, okay? So this is it. This is my finished table, dining room set, table, chairs, whatever. I love this technique. It is so, so, so pretty. It's just a really soft look. It's very French, and it gives a nice distressed patina without having to sand or using my vinegar and water technique that I'm sure you've heard about. If not, I'll make sure that I add that to the end of my video. So you can check that out. But this is so easy to do, and the secret is this white lime wax. That's part of the secret of the softness. The colors that I used, you know, the technique that I shared on the chairs, same technique that I did on the table is what I did on the chairs. There's no wrong way of doing this. Now, I want to say this. If you are ever afraid of painting a piece of furniture, you're like, I want to try it, but I'm so scared, don't do it. Okay, seriously, don't do it. Get a piece of furniture from the thrift shop, like a $4 table or chair or something, or get some scrap wood or whatever and practice on it first, okay? Practice. Make sure you get it the way, you know, kind of, because it's not going to look exactly the same. A technique like this, you could do 20 tables, they're all going to look different, which is really cool, which is what I like about this. And there's no way you can really screw up. But if you're afraid, that's what I would suggest. Just practice first. But like I said, this wax, I love this wax. Not just for this technique, but again, it just shows, like, if you have any imperfections, it'll show up on that. If you use a dark color, it just softens it. It's just, oh, I love this so much. So I just want to show you this. It's like maybe a little less than halfway full, which I think is really, really good. Like, there's still plenty left, and I did all the tables, or all the tables, the table and all the chairs, which I think is really, really good. So yeah, that is it, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that it was helpful and informative to you. Please make sure you give it a big, big, big thumbs up and share it with your friends. It helps my channel so much. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribing, just click that subscribe button below. Make sure you click on the bell too, because anytime I have a new video, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you'll be notified. And you can follow me on my blog, whitelacecottage.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I will leave all the links below, and I also have a Facebook group too. And I'll put that link below too, so you can join that as well. So that is it, guys. Thank you again so much, and I will see you real soon. Bye.